Hello, Professor Jimenez. So my name is Nathan Farrell, and I'm here to discuss my idea prototype for the prototype section of our course. So my problem is, how do we eliminate implicit bias from executive boards when selecting new members to represent this executive board? And my problem statement has somewhat shifted from selecting friend groups to also just selecting people in general. So I drew out a little prototype diagram for it. And then I'll be going over each of these to kind of explain my topic just a little bit better. So the first part of it, and the way I've kind of reevaluated my problem, is what is the best way to eliminate bias within an organization? Well, there's two ways. One, you either target the new members who have not had yet to develop a bias within the organization, or you target the oldest members who have the most experience within the organization and are also attempting to leave behind their legacy to keep the chapter running for its longevity. So, me being a senior decided to focus on the longevity of the chapter. So here's what I've drawn out. This first little table is the seniors. And so my plan is, when electing a new board, we stop letting all of the members choose because, one, a lot of members will naturally gravitate towards their friends, and we only allow the seniors to choose. This being a select group who has seen the chapter thrive and run well for 4 years. So within this, all the seniors get around a table and we do our elections. Then we pass these elections out to applications. We extend applications to people who we think would be the best at running their new position. With them running their new position, this provides an opportunity for this student to receive either the gratification or the recognition that they deserve to run the position well, as well as gives them an opportunity to really plead their case. After that, we can approve or deny those applications. Now, this would take a majority vote for all of this, being a democracy. From there, we get to deliberate. Now, we get to talk about each person's application and whether or not it is worthy of being qualified or like a quality application or not. Throughout this process, it allows not only these students to get to see whether or not their interview skills or their application skills are good, but do we get to see their motivation, drive, and passion for wanting an executive position? Or are they just doing it for a resume booster? Because majority than not, they're doing it for a resume booster. We've been seeing this a lot more in not only student organizations, but also fraternities and sororities. A lot of people are detaching themselves from the brotherhood and sisterhood and only looking at what benefits them, not the longevity of the chapter. And so that's something I'm definitely going to be taking into consideration when I'm looking into my applications. Next would be the debate. So what we would do is, if we had a couple of candidates that we really liked, we would have them all come in and plead their case on why they deserve to have that position. For instance, with president, this past year we had 3 candidates run and they had a runoff. Well, 2 tied for the highest votes, so then we had a runoff between those 2 while the last candidate got to bump themselves down to run for a different position. Now, if we're only having seniors select, the seniors really get the authority to kind of leave their legacy with this new exec board and saying, hey, we're putting our full faith within you guys to run this chapter. Please don't let us down. I feel like being a senior, a lot of us either become really checked out within our fraternity or we're overly engaged with our fraternity. And I feel like this gives a good balance for both, because it allows those who are really checked out to kind of see the organization and be like, well, this person's really done a lot, but they're doing it all just to be the face of the fraternity rather than the inside of the portion of the chapter. So I feel like that's a really important thing to talk about. The next thing we would do is vote yes or no on those people. And what this does is it allows us to kind of understand where we are when it comes to the group consensus. I don't feel like if democracy wins, it should be a 50-50 split, because obviously there's potential in one that we're not seeing and no potential in other. But at the same time, I don't think it can be a complete, what's that word? Where everyone votes for one side. I feel like there can be a little bit of a divide, but let's say there are 15 seniors. If it's a 7 and 8 split vote, I think we do need to talk it out a little bit more because both sides are seeing potential. Now, if it's more like a 11-4 split, still discuss it, but I think the option can be a little bit more solidified. So after we do that and vote, we tally up those votes to kind of see where we're at with that. And the last thing is announcing and congratulating. So within this prototype, I think by just utilizing only seniors for selecting the new executive boards, one, it doesn't take away power from the members because they still can have input on who they believe should get elected. But it really gives the seniors the authority and the ones who have worked so hard to build this chapter the longest for at least this time period to give them an opportunity to really say, you know what, you guys all really want this person because you think they're going to do well and they're friends with you, but we know deep down that this person's going to excel because they have more qualifications. So I feel like within this prototype, it will be a really successful one, but we would also have to still run some base tests. So that's kind of where I'm going with my next portion is the test, obviously. I do feel like it was very difficult for me to find a prototype online because all of those prototypes really focused around like a centralized idea of crafting or creating something, not necessarily eliminating something. And so that's where I've kind of been struggling, is because anytime I looked at an eliminating prototype, it focused more around artificial intelligence, which I cannot or do not at least plan to use within my brotherhood. So thank you so much for allowing me to give you this presentation. Have a great day.